I think none of the student, only one student is there right now, but we'll start. So we were talking about chapter 2 earlier, where we discussed about the various supply chain strategies and all. Now we move to distribution network design in supply chain. Okay. So before we go to distribution network design, I would be sharing a video before we start understanding the nitty-gritties of the distribution network. Let's see some videos meanwhile.
To buy a Model S, you can simply order it on their website. This channel is choosing the right distribution channel is a very delicate decision, and now we know why. Let's spend a few minutes and learn about the different types of channels and how each is formed. When we talk about consumer products, we can pick from one of the following 4 options. Direct marketing channels. These comprise producers selling products directly to consumers. The advantage of this type of channel is the producer can establish a direct relationship with clients, own their data, and manage their experience. However, this comes at the expense of higher costs and organizational difficulties. Tesla is a great example of a company that sells directly to end users. To buy a Model S, you can simply order it on their website. This means cutting the middleman's margin. The price for the end customer is not increased due to dealers' commissions. Producers can involve retailers who will sell to final customers. So, for example, Walmart buys many products directly from producers. The company can do that because its trade volumes are enormous and it can reach out directly to producers. The third channel we have involves a producer, a wholesaler, a retailer, and final customers. This is a valid option for producers who sell their products to thousands of retailers and cannot manage the relationship with each of them. The retailers in this channel will be smaller shops or retail chains that do not have significant trade volumes and need the services of a wholesaler who buys from producers. And finally, the fourth channel is the one involving agents. It is useful for new products that need a stronger push. Agents can leverage their connections and strong sales skills, communicating with wholesalers and retailers and convincing them to try selling the new product. These are the 4 types of channels we can have when selling consumer products. What about industrial products? The picture we see here is very similar, isn't it? There is a slight difference in some channels used here. The direct channel is much heavier, as it accounts for over 50% of sales. This occurs because industrial goods are very expensive and have a high degree of customization, and it makes sense to have direct contact with the customer. Business clients prefer having direct contact with their supplier, even if it means a more expensive service. Their main concern is risks. Therefore, they are unwilling to lose valuable time when implementing a solution. The other 3 channels are similar to the ones we saw for consumer products. We can have a distributor or an agent who serves as a link between producers and business clients, or have both a distributor and an agent. The relationship between producers and distributors will have 3 main dimensions: logistics, financials, and information. Things are easier to agree about on the technical side of logistic issues. The producer company will ship its products to distributors, who will deliver them to final customers. And if something goes wrong, clients will return the product to the distributors, who will send it back to the producers. These procedures are easy to standardize and should be the point of lowest resistance in the relationship between producers and distributors. Things become different when money comes in play. Negotiations about discounts, pricing for the end customer, and payment terms are an ongoing topic that becomes very difficult in most producer-distributor relationships. The easier it is for distributors to replace the firm's products with the ones offered by competitors, the greater the leverage they will have at negotiations. The last aspect we mentioned is information. One of the bigger drawbacks of working with a distributor is they have all your client information. And what is worse, in some situations, they might refuse to share it with you as they consider it their own asset. Every firm wants to know more about its customers, And what if someone else owns that information? Well, obviously, that's a problem. In an ideal world, the relationship between producers and distributors would be flawless. Both parties will value each other, will be determined to share profits in a fair way, and will work together in the long run. The truth is, however, we live in the real world, and producer-distributor relationships are rather complex and require willingness for concessions on both sides.
Okay, so uh, for the people who have just come in now, we are doing distribution network design. Or designing the distribution network. That's what the name of the chapter is. Uh, Distribution network, as I've just shown you a video, basically implies, I think it is mute. I was just checking if I was mute. No, fine. So distribution network design basically implies how you have configured your members in supply chain. Like in the previous video, four type of distribution networks were shown: direct sales, and there was a only retailer, and in another one there was a distributor and retailer, and in the fourth one there was an agent. But from in this textbook, we will not be considering this four classification, but that was just to apprise you. So there are many aspects of distribution network design that we need to consider. Okay, so let's say what are those aspects. In order to introduce those aspects, uh, we need to know that why can't I just distribute the way I want? Why can't I just go and have a retailer and start distributing my products? There are several variables involved. So let's see what are those variables. So we say broadly there are two main variables. One is customer service, and the second one is supply chain cost. One, two is supply chain cost. These are two main variables between which the supply chain players have to play and juggle their responsibilities and make various combinations to ship the product. So, yeah, Saurabh, can you please mute? Saurabh, please mute. Okay, so, what are the customer service characteristics of customer service? We can say response time, which is required by the customer. The second one is product variety, which is required by the customer. Third one is product availability, product availability. The fourth one is customer experience. Fifth one is order visibility. And the sixth one is returnability. Returnability of the product. So these are some main aspects of customer service. I think they are self-explanatory to a larger extent. Uh, Product availability basically means that how often do you want your product to be available. See, for cars, it is products which are having very high value. The product availability, if you want to ensure high product availability, the cost will be very high because you have to make that car in advance and keep it in a showroom, and storage and all those things are required. So value of, I mean, the value of the product will also govern uh, how much you can afford to give to the customer. So we will talk about all this in this chapter. And then supply chain cost. So basically four different types of costs which we'll have to consider is inventory cost. Second one is transportation cost. Third one is facilities and planning, plus facilities and handling cost. And the fourth one is information cost. So these are, you can say, basic variables which the interplay of these variables will govern how my distribution network will be designed. Now I'll play a video and we will try to analyze that video. So how many of you know have heard about Starbucks? Please raise your hand if you have heard about Starbucks. Okay, only Yukta has raised the hand, but anyway, let me play the video, then we'll talk about it. So we will first, I'll just play that video and then we will analyze that with respect to these parameters.
Today's video is one of the most powerful lessons I could ever pass on to you about building a successful business that makes a significant amount of money. But please note, this video has almost nothing to do with affiliate marketing or selling digital products. Those are the tools. But today I'm going to give you something far more valuable. A completely new way to look at your business. Most people think Starbucks is in the coffee business. They're not. Coffee is their product, but their business is actually distribution and real estate. Those stores.
So very first thing that we notice about this video is that Starbucks is not making a coffee of its own. Okay, that is first thing we should clarify. So basically their business is only dependent on how they are distributing it. So let's go ahead.
Represent Starbucks distribution channel. Television, YouTube, Facebook are distribution channels. These are the mediums in which marketing messages flow and goods are sold to a participating audience. So if Starbucks wants to sell more coffee, they must expand their channel by opening more stores. Without those stores, there is no business. Same with McDonald's. Same with Walmart. All of these companies have figured out that their real business is their distribution channel through which goods and services are sold. We need to remember that as well, as it's the key to building a business that makes $400,000 in a week instead of one that only makes $400. The miracle of building a business in the internet age is that it allows a single person to build a massive global virtual distribution channel with nothing more than a laptop. Christina, a full-time mom with 2 kids, and has spent the past 2 years writing a few books on parenting tips for new mothers. Now that her books are done, her primary goal has been to sell those books and bring in some revenue. Most people, especially small business owners, would agree with that logic. You create a product or service, and then you focus on selling it. But there's a reason that the average annual revenue for a small business in the US is only $44,000, and there's a reason why it is not turned into millions. She thinks her business is selling books. It's not. Her books are a product, but a product is never a business. Here's what I mean. To demonstrate the difference between building a business where the primary focus is on selling books and building a business where the primary focus is on building a distribution channel, Christina could sell her book on Amazon.com and the Kindle store for $9.95. For every sale, she makes a 70% profit, or $7 per book. In order to make $7,000 per month, she would have to find a way to sell 1,000 books per month, or 33 books per day. She doesn't get any of her customers' information such as their name or email address, so her only way to make money is to constantly sell books every single day. She might be able to spend some of that $7 in profit on advertising, but that will decrease her profits down to $1 or $2 per book if she's lucky. This is not a business, and yet it's what tens of thousands of authors attempt to do each and every day. Now let's take another approach. Instead of focusing on book sales, let's focus on building her distribution channel, which in the case is a list of moms who subscribe to her free email newsletter. By sending her readers valuable information via email on a regular basis, Christina can build a solid relationship with them. She can become known, liked, and trusted for the value she provides. This is called goodwill. And goodwill is everything when it comes to the value of your distribution channel. Because if people know, like, and trust you, they will buy from you. On average, an email subscriber to Christina's list will be worth $1 per month in revenue if she maintains a high level of goodwill. If she has a list of 5,000 readers, she should be able to make around $5,000 per month by promoting goods and services that would benefit her readers. 20,000 readers equals $20,000 per month, and so forth. Over the course of a year, that means each subscriber is worth $12. This is possible because people tend to stay in your distribution channel and consume your products and services for as long as you continue to create goodwill. So how can we use Christina's book to build her email list? Simple. If each free email subscriber is worth at least $12 per year and her book customers are only worth $7 total, then it makes a heck of a lot more sense to just give away the book for free in exchange for their email address. With the addition of a second product that she can offer her new subscribers for $20 to $50, she will be able to afford to actively market her free book on Facebook's advertising platform and rapidly increase the speed of her list growth to hundreds of new subscribers per day. Within the next 12 months, she should have a list of around 100,000 subscribers, which should produce around $100,000 per month in revenue. Anytime she creates a new product or comes across someone else that she'd like to recommend, she can do so just by sending out a single email. But it gets significantly more interesting when you start to focus on turning those free email subscribers into actual customers. Their value goes from $12 per year to well over $100 to $1,000. So let me walk you through an actual real-world case study. The great thing about building a distribution channel that generates revenue, rather than a product that generates revenue, is that you can leverage the amazing products and services that others have spent the time to create. This is typically called affiliate marketing, which was pioneered by Amazon.com almost 20 years ago. Basically, you can promote someone's product or service and get paid a commission for every sale. If it's a digital product like an ebook or an online course, that commission is typically going to be 50%. So if the product costs $50, you'd make a $25 commission. When it comes to promoting a product to your list as an affiliate, there's 2 important rules you need to keep in mind. 1. Only promote products that you've personally bought and checked out for quality. 2. Only promote products because you believe they will provide a real tangible benefit to the people on your list. Not for money, but because you know it will help them achieve their ultimate goal. Failure to follow these rules will result in the loss of goodwill and could even destroy it completely. Finally, I included a photo within the email to provide proof that I personally used the product. This went a long way in readers' minds to solidify the product's value.
So what we've seen in this video is that the distribution channel, designing a distribution channel is very important. Be it a soft product like an email which is containing details of a book or anything like that, newsletter, or be it a physical product. So right now we are more focused on physical product distribution. And the factors which we considered, like customer service, what did we observe in this video is that goodwill also plays a lot of role. So we will see the significance of goodwill. So once you are building a distribution network, the response time, product variety, product availability, customer experience, order visibility and returnability, these are the main variables which are playing the part. Now, how does Starbucks decide that where to open the store? The answer could be simple, that you open the store in a place where it is very crowded. Okay, but then is that crowd good enough for that kind of price which they are offering? They have to see that. Similarly, if you have to think about response time. So if I want to find out that how many stores should I locate and why should I think about it? Store location. The first question is, why should I think about it? Anyone? Can anyone shed some light on it? Why should I think about? You can, okay. So look, store location, approach, proximity, you can say, or proximity to customer. So if higher is the proximity to customer, if I have to maintain higher proximity to customer, should I be having more stores or even less stores will do? Tell.
More stores.
Yeah, we should have more stores in order to have more proximity to customer. But then what's wrong with the having more stores? So if I, let's say, if I open more stores, what are the things associated with this? Of course, cost is associated, supply chain cost is associated. So what are the four components of supply chain cost? The four components of supply chain cost that we saw earlier was inventory, transportation, facilities and handling, and information. Okay, so now let's say the four costs are inventory, transportation, facilities and handling.
Sir, are you writing something on whiteboard?
Yeah, it's okay. I did not share. This is an issue. So inventory, transportation, facilities and handling information. And information. So if you open more stores, what will happen to inventory? Will it increase or decrease?
Increase.
It will increase because uh, if let's say there is only one store and in comparison there are four stores, you can say this is only one store and vis-a-vis we've got four stores A, B, C, and D. Okay. Now let's say 10 different type of product varieties are there. So if X is the demand, you keep 10% extra. Okay. So he'll keep 10% extra for the demand of X. Okay. Now this is something which you are prepared for, but you also prepare for something which could be uh, sudden or something like that. We call that as a safety inventory. So he'll be keeping 2 units of safety inventory also, or let to 2% as safety inventory. While A, B, C, and D may perceive the safety inventory with different aspect. They may want to keep 3%, 4%, something like that, because they are more closer to customer. They would not have that much time to respond. So this one store is actually a big store, while these small ones are not big, and then the volume which they are ordering is not very high. So they have to keep higher percentage of the safety inventory. So generally, it would go around 3 to 4% safety stock, even though they are carrying 10% as the demand extra for which they are prepared for, and 3 to 4% for which they are not prepared for. So in a way, this extra safety inventory which A, B, C, and D are going to keep is going to inflate the overall inventory which is kept uh, when you are having multiple stores. So inventory goes high, we can say. Transportation cost. What would happen to the transportation cost? See, if you're locating on highway, uh, your transportation cost would be much lesser. While if you are locating inside city, you have to anyway cross the highway, but then at the same time, you have to drop at all the different places in the city. So your transportation cost may be higher. So it's not, uh, we are not saying it is definitely going to be higher, but there is a scenario of inbound and outbound costs. So we will talk about that subsequently in this chapter. So right now we can say the transportation cost generally goes higher. You can also argue that since customers are now closer to the stores, overall their cost may get lower. So we can't say anything about that right now. So you can say it can increase or decrease initially. It can increase initially then decrease, or it can decrease initially and then increase. So that could be a scenario, and we will talk about that. And then the facilities and the handling cost. Now because multiple stores are there, you'll have to keep them again on the truck and drop them back. So handling cost will definitely increase, because now you are doing more distribution, you are getting more closer to the customer. So pick and drop is more as compared to that in the earlier situation where only very few stores are there. And the facility cost is going to increase because more stores you are opening. So again, you may argue that initially it may decrease or increase. So again, it becomes a point. Right now, we can say they increase because that's what our understanding is right now. If the more stores are there, the information handling cost will be higher, because you'll be needing skilled people at those places to transfer the information, or even you'll be needing more devices to capture the information, or you'll be needing more servers, higher capacity servers to capture and process that information. So all these things go up. So we can comfortably say here that as you increase the number of stores, your supply chain cost may increase. But then what is the advantage? Everything looks like bad only from the point of view of increasing the number of facilities. What is the advantage that we get? Yes, anyone? what is the advantage that we intend to get if we are having more number of facilities? So we can understand it with a little bit of curve that we make. On x-axis we have response time, and on y-axis we have number of facilities. Facilities over here, we can say that they are stores or they are warehouses, or even a manufacturing factory can be said to be a facility. So number of facilities. So if you have very less number of facilities, like let's say you consider you got customers over here. These are your customers across India, and you got only one plant located in Bangalore. So option one is that he'll be sending to all the customers if there is no intermediary involved. So very less number of facilities. So in this situation, the cost may be higher. So, and on the other side, if we have partners in between, like he ships only to two people, there is a distributor one, distributor two, and each distributor then gives to the customers. So in the previous case, since it was directly coming from Bangalore, the response time would be higher. But if you are now, customers just have to contact the distributors, and they are more closer to the customer as compared to the original plant or the manufacturing plant. So now they are closer to the customer, so you can say the response time would be lower. So it shows this kind of curve where as they increase the number of facilities, the response time keeps going down. But then can it become zero? Of course not. So it becomes pretty much constant. So it drops initially at a higher rate. You can say the slope is very high initially, and as the time progresses, the slope of this curve dies down. Okay, and it becomes asymptotic to x-axis after some time. So we need to find out the right place where we can get the reduction in this response time at an optimal rate. Okay, the slope at which the curve or the steepest part of this curve will give me the right number of facilities. Okay, probably it is most steepest over here somewhere. So if I can find out the number of facilities that I should have, so it is going to give me that. Now there was a time when there was a store called Borders, and Borders was a bookstore in US. They were selling books, and they had physical stores. They had around 400 stores across United States. Now my question to all of you is, can they have all the kind of books in every store? Is it possible to have every variety of the book? Or let's say store one is keeping 1000 titles. So is it possible for all the stores to keep those 1000 titles, all of them?
It is difficult, sir.
Yes, Yukta?
It is difficult, sir.
It is difficult.
Sir, it is difficult for all the stores to keep all the varieties.
You're
Sir,
absolutely right, because you'll end up having too much inventory at the end. Too much inventory. So how will be your experience if these kind of bookstores are there? On the other hand, now we have Flipkart and Amazon selling it. Yes. So, anyone will, I mean, let's say in today's time, I want to open these 400 stores in India. Will they work or not? Question one.
No, sir.
Why will they not work?
Because these days everything's going online, and no one got time to visit offline stores and all those things,
Yeah.
and
So even though,
it will
and
impact on our maintenance and everything.
exactly. So brick and mortar stores are anyway troubled, as you know that, and we can't afford. Nobody can afford to have that many books at every store. Okay, crosswords. If you know, there is a. It's a chain. It's a chain, a chain of bookstores and toys and things like that in India, and they are not doing very well. And of course, they don't have that many stores, 400. But if you can Google it, how many crossword stores? If you can see, let's Google, every one of you. So if you go to that crossword, they might,
Look at
if
their
you look at
website.
their website, uh, they are showing what all stores, how many stores do they have? Let's see. If it's possible, I'm just crossword stores. Yeah. So they have quite many anyway.
Sir, are you
Just
writing
now.
something on whiteboard?
No, no, I'm not. You can also Google it. But what I can see is there are around mm, 25 to 30 from the website. I can see it over here. 25 to 30 looks like that. So not many, but they are not doing great. Even then, they have to be online. Their website is there. You can purchase books online and do the ordering and all those things. You can do online also. So it's not like if you open the brick and mortar store in today's world, you can get away with uh, the thing. So similarly, that's what happened with the borders also. They borders they were very much borders. They were doing very well till end of 1990s. But what happened is that the stores did not have that much capacity, so they can't afford to keep all the variety. While Amazon, on the other hand, opened only 6 locations. So Amazon started their business with books, right? All of you know that probably. So they had only 6 locations compared to 400 locations of borders. And what they started doing was they started taking online orders, or even telephonically they were taking orders that time. So over a period of time, with the convenience, because you walk into a border store and you don't find a book, that becomes troubling. So what do you do? Rather go to a catalog and see if they wear this book. So you are okay in 2 3 days or 4 days it will come. You are okay with that. So book is not something of an emergency item, something like that, which you, if it's not there, you want it today only. Generally, nobody is that desperate to get the book. So you can wait for that 4 days, 3 days. I mean, so the kind of product which won Amazon its first market was of books, and Borders eventually caved into the competition given by the Amazon, because how do you manage those 400 stores? So they started closing down. and eventually the whole business was consumed by Amazon and they lost it. So basically, the number of what problem was with the borders is the number of facilities which they opened were very high. That should not be the case. You have to analyze the kind of product which you are selling through a physical network. Now, can you name the products which have to be sold physically in proximity to the customer only? You can't sell those products um, only online. Can you name some products which for which brick and mortar store is a must? Anyone?
Uh, like food stuff and materials for construction.
Okay, yeah, material for construction. Medicines. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't do away with medicines. It cannot be totally online because at times you need it immediately also. If let's say you got a headache or you can't place an order and it will come after 2 days. So you need like medicine is much one such thing, and construction, of course, because construction materials are in it's you would definitely find some websites selling construction material also, but it has not come into fashion across the world yet that hardware or these kind of things generally are required. Both the channels are required for that. You just can't get away with stores. So name some products which can be totally made online and physical stores are not required for that. Anyone? Yes, Yukta, Aura, Rajiv, Rupinder. Anyone? Okay. So anyway, you think about that. I may ask that in exam or in the quiz. So one thing which we observe is that increasing the number of facility moves them closer to the end customer. Of course, that the response time reduces, but the supply chain cost increases. Uh, there's another company, a McMaster car, which I was talking about earlier. They have less number of facilities, like 6 facilities across US, and they sell hardware, and they take 1 or 2 days to deliver it. At the same time, there is WW Granger also, which has 370 facilities. So totally opposite to that of McMaster car. But both of them are existing because there are some products which are which are required at the same time on the same day, which are urgent, which could be urgent also, and which may, if proper planning is there, you can place the order online as well. So you can't really say that some products are could be totally done on. Like we can put a clause over here that if the planning is right, if you are doing advanced planning. I give my example. Most of the grocery I'm purchasing online because there's a checklist which I'm maintaining, and every month I'm placing order for those things. So I'd never have to visit online. I never have to go to an offline store. So there is a kind of a system which I've developed. So if you are systematic enough, you can save a lot of money on transportation cost. We now you can see in India the fuel is getting expensive day by day. So the ways of reducing your cost is that you do a better planning. Don't avoid going to grocery stores because if you can do in your household, find out that in your household also that if you place an order in advance, keep inventory of at least some days of grocery, like soaps are there, and tea, coffee, because generally when they are about to end and uh, there's a guest coming in, you run to the market. How many of you have done that? I don't know. uh, some guest is coming and the things are, grocery items are missing, a biscuit is not there or snack is not there, you go to the market and get it. So you are spending a good amount of money in low value products. How many of you have done that? Please raise hand. Spent fuel for low value items. I think most of you do that. So Yukta says yes, and I can bet everyone has done that. For low value items, if you are spending money, you can imagine how much it inflates to at the end of the month. So the solution to this is better planning. I mean, maintain an Excel sheet or something like that. Um, List all the items, grocery items in that, and place an order. So you can compare that with the transportation cost across the year. Maybe you could save to 5 to 10,000 rupees in a year, which is a good amount. So the thing is that number of facilities which have to be opened, you have to decide it in trade-off with the response time. Trade-off means either this or that. So where do you choose? Somewhere in between. Similarly, inventory cost. So again, I compare with the borders, where on the y-axis you have inventory cost, inventory, sorry, inventory cost, ICM writing, and on x-axis there is number of facilities. So initially, you can see the inventory cost keeps on increasing. It's not a straight line, but it is not a straight line, but rather a kind of a curve. So as you increase the number of facilities, your inventory cost keeps on increasing, and the slope keeps on reducing over time with the number of increase in facilities, because the rate at which the inventory cost is going to increase with the increase in number of facilities will not be that high, because uh, since you have already opened so many facilities, these facilities starts getting closer to each other, so you can afford to transfer one inventory to another, inventory from one store to another. So in a way, you will have to keep relatively lesser inventory as you increase the number of facilities after certain points. So initially you can say at this point, I would say the slope starts reducing, or reducing in a sense, it won't become negative, but it will start becoming little bit lesser positive. Okay. So as the number of facilities increase, your inventory cost also increases. So we'll continue our discussion on this in the remaining classes. That's it for today. You may give your attendance in the Excel sheet.